Look at the news. Look at the news. What a weekend. And as we start out every show, Big Sills! Hope all had a great weekend. I watched something today that brought me back to why I loved the game of football. I watched a guy talk about how much you had to sacrifice in life to get to the point where he was and is in his life and career. And the journey is so amazing to listen to. So many people have never in a million years walked the path that Jason Kelce walked to get to the point where he is right now. I tuned it on and I immediately fell in love with Jason Kelce's retirement speech because it was more about thankfulness, gratefulness, greatness, God, parents, dedication, desire, never quitting. That was about the biggest American speech I've heard by an American in the last 10 years. Opportunity, walked on. Get this. So Jason Kelce walked on at Cincinnati and is going to walk into Canton. He was so emotional. I got emotional a little because when you leave that game and at the level he played has to hurt something so severe. When you leave football and you've played into your 30s and you leave pieces of your body all over the field and all over the country, a tough guy like that, the game broke him down. It was a privilege to watch that speech. Everything you saw that made that man was on display with that man. His commitment to family, team. You can't get any better than that. You just can't. That was such a from the heart speech. It's the best I've seen in a long time. Let's go back and listen to Michael Irvin when he went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was more about his family, opportunity. He talked about his time playing for you guys in Philly. What a what an honor he gave you guys. What an honor. The things he said about Eagle fans. Whew. You guys are awesome. That was quite a statement made about you fans. Fantastic. I mean, do you think he was talking about Slay when he said some people can't take the booze? He will be missed. And by the way, guys, don't feel sorry for him. Those weren't tears of sadness. Those were tears of accomplishment. There's a difference. He's finally ran through the tape. When you're a man like that, you have no finish line. Brady struggled like that. Do you see? Your true love is the game. Your true love is the game. I wrote down some of the greatest centers in the history of the National Football League. Is he the greatest Eagle center? I don't look at Bednarik as your greatest center. I look at him as your greatest player. I would look at Bednarik as that. I know he played linebacker and center, but Kelce's your greatest center. Kelce will go down as one of the greatest Eagles. We'll have Merrill Reese with us later at 5:30 also. Carton is going to come on, obviously. He missed us on Friday. He'll come on. He talks sports in Philadelphia as well, get his take. And also Farzetta will join us. And a cast of others as we talk about Jason Kelce and his retirement. I wrote down these 5 guys and I said, does Kelce belong in the conversation with 5 of the greatest centers in the history of the sport? Mike Webster, Steelers, 74-90. Jim Otto, 60-74. Dwight Stevenson, short career, got hurt, 80-87. Dermontti Dawson, 88-2000. And Jim Langer from the Dolphins, back in those Dolphin teams that won 3 AFC titles and 2 Super Bowls, and one of those teams was undefeated. You could also put Jim Ringo into that conversation. Thought it was great. He threw a lot of roses and a lot of love for Jeff Stoutland, which is correct. Where does Kelce fit in that? Does he fit in that? Is he as good as Langer? There is no question Kelce's a top 10 center in history. I don't have a problem saying that. I think he's better than Mawai. He's better than Saturday. He's better than Cross. There's not a lot. Is he a top 5? That's where I'm going here. Is he better than Otto? Otto's a 12-time Pro Bowler. Hard to. Otto and Webster, impossible. 4 Super Bowls, 6 years. Hall of Famer on that offensive line with the Steelers. Is he better than Stevenson? Probably because he played longer. So you could probably put Jason Kelce in the top 5 of the NFL's greatest centers of all time. He is the greatest Eagle center. Probably goes him, Ringo, and then Concrete. But he is easily in that conversation. Easily in that conversation. I'm young, but to me, he would be the greatest Eagle of all time, considering all factors. Super Bowl talent, fans, he gets it. Jason Kelce. Is he the most respected Eagle of all time? Or how about this? In your lifetime, has there ever been another Eagle that has been respected by the city, the organization, players around the league, and Philadelphia, more so than Kelce? Has there? Has anyone been more respected than Jason Kelce? Nick Foles for what? 1 year? 1 game? This is a 13-year career. This is 13 years of Hall of Fame football. Dawkins? Man, the amount of passion he showed today was overwhelming him. And when you see something like that, guys like that don't get overwhelmed by the moment. He was overwhelmed. It all came crashing down on him. I thought it was inspiring. And I'm with Jason. It was an honor to watch. It was an honor to watch greatness. Have to admit, he has to go. Fuck. I'm all pro, not Pro Bowl. I'm all pro. And I have to go. That must hurt like no pain. Because, hey, most of us, right, LJ? Most of us are told when to go. Very few of us are given the ability to do this. I have to go. I have to leave. I can't stay anymore. I'm this close to not having good health. I have to go. There's a handful of these men that can just do this. I'm out. Look, I'm not trying to get sentimental with you here. All I'm trying to get is, dude, when you walk away from that thing, football, that's something that's been a part of your life forever. And when you're him, I know how I felt when you leave football. Him, having accomplished all the things he's accomplished and still all pro, man. I hope he finds something in his post-football that keeps him focused on the game and keeps him involved in the game. Because you never want to get too far away from the game. It's funny, I tell people go, Sills, put up with a lot of shit. You could do pretty much anything you wanted to do. Why do this? Because it keeps me kind of close to the game. Hey, I love broadcasting and I love doing this, but I like to stay around the game. I like to be involved in the game. You can't let go of the game. You just can't. I played football from the time I was 9 years old until the time I was 33. You just can't walk away from that thing. Kelce's 37 and had played NFL football. Shit, I had to carry my ass around the world. This guy played NFL football for 13 legendary years. Hard to just walk away from that. Think the Eagles should retire that number right away? You think they should just call that number right now? 62 is retired. Well, 62 is never going to be handed out again anyway. Hey, man, I'll tell you what a privilege for you guys to have somebody like that on your football team. A privilege like that for you to have a player and a man like that represent your city. Isn't it crazy? Your greatest offensive players in your entire franchise's history, they don't represent Philadelphia. You know who does? Chuck Bednarik, Brian Dawkins, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and now Jason Kelce. All blue-collar positions. No quarterbacks represent Philly. Jason Kelce represents Philly. Hurts represents the Eagles. But Kelce represents Philly. Hard work. Had to walk on. Do you know what? Do you know? Let me put it to you this way. This guy was a walk-on at Cincinnati. Cincinnati back then was an okay program. So he walked on as an okay player out of high school. Wasn't like eyeballs were on him. He was probably the fourth depth team center or linebacker. I think he said he started as linebacker at Cincinnati. For today to end the way it did, where he's going to be going to Canton from a fourth team center at Cincinnati to now, well, Kelce puts on the Hummer's costume. Hey, how about when he was talking about that Super Bowl moment? I'm telling you, it's the greatest Super Bowl moment in NFL history. When Foles walks over to the sideline, he goes the cockiest guy on the team and the guy with the biggest set of balls in the stadium. And the guy says, let's run the Philly special. Philly, Philly. Okay, let's do it. Represent that moment is a time capsule for Philly, for Kelce, for the team, for Philly, forever. Let's do it. Let's do it. You want Philly, Philly? Let's do it. Greatest moment in Philadelphia sports history. Has to be. Let's do it. You'll never forget that. Man, would I love to have been in that huddle for that. I wonder what he said when he went back in the huddle and they looked at the men in the face and said, we're running the Philly special. Because he walked over to the sidelines and it came to him then. And then he had to walk back and tell them, we're running the Philly special. Everyone in that huddle must have went, fuck, let's do this. Dude, that's how you win ball. Hey, there ain't no analytics, Julian, there. There ain't no analytics in that call. There's no Poindexter in an ear going, hey, what do you think the percentages are on that play? Hey, that was run by guts and balls. Really a great moment. Really a great moment. Should be proud. You should be proud. That'll be a press conference I don't forget. You know, I love Jordan's Hall of Fame induction speech. I loved Michael Irvin's. But I love this one probably as good as anything. I you know what? I can't wait for his Hall of Fame speech when he's in Canton. Is he a first ballot? Yes, sir. Jason Kelce's a first ballot Hall of Famer. My question is, you think it's Travis that introduces him to Canton? Or do you think it'll be Stoutland or his dad or his mom? Who do you think will be the guy that will introduce him to the Hall of Fame? Stoutland? Andy Reid? Jeffrey Lurie? Pops? I think it's got to be Travis. I'll tell you what, man, those two guys and those two boys, they got a great love relationship with each other. It's competitive. They push one another, pull for one another, are competitive against each other. I think it's one of the healthiest brother relationships I've ever seen in NFL history. I think it's great. Really is and again, and get this, in a city, you know what I first thought too? When I saw Jason Kelce crying there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, my first fear was how it was going to be received in a city where no crying is allowed, especially for guys like that you've seen play with so much toughness, how that would be received. And as I was reading some of the comments on Facebook and watching the press conference, I saw a lot of people who are really hardcore Eagle fans going, it's the only time that this stuff is accepted is right here. Well done, guy. Philly loves you. Comments like that. Hey, man, we don't tolerate this, but for this is an exception because he was exceptional. That's why you accept it. You accept things that the exceptional do. It was exceptional for the exception. He's just exceptional in all of his abilities.